Hello, Nighthawks, and welcome back to our biggest session of the semester. This is one where I really wish we were in person because learning Adobe Premiere Pro is so much easier when you have someone there who can help you in person so I could see what you're doing and what you're doing on your screen. So with that said, if you need help throughout the week, I have the ability to Zoom with you so you could share your screen with me. So feel free to reach out to me because what we're doing this week is we're putting it all together. You already shot an interview for practice. Last week you shot some B-roll. Some of you did it all in one take, and that's okay. This is all practice right now, and we're going to give you your final assignment by the end of the day. So let's get it started. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to share my entire desktop so you can actually see everything that I'm doing here. So the first thing, if you recall, I did my interview with my son and did some B-roll. I did not touch any of that. I did it all on my iPhone, so they're coming up with .mov files. Last week when I did my B-roll session, I did rename my B-roll, but this isn't going to do me any good right now. And then this is the interview file. I'm just going to pull it up here so you could kind of see it. And so I know what that is. So first thing I want to do before I even open up Adobe Premiere Pro, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rename these so I actually know what I'm looking at. So I know that's my interview. Okay, this is B-roll. This is over the shoulder of him doing homework. So I'm going to do OTS homework. Okay. Let's see, B-roll 2. This is going to be, okay, this is video of him playing a video game. So I'm going to do video game. Okay. Now I'm going to look at B-roll 3 that I had previously saved, but I don't remember what it is. And this is, of course, this is the video of him playing with our dog Wrigley. So I'm going to go ahead and rename that. Play with dog. Okay. And you'll see why I'm doing this much later. This is going to make things much easier. B-roll 4 here is, okay, this is him pitching, and I know I have a matched action shot here, so I'm going to put pitching side because I have a side view of him, and if I recall, this should be pitching, yep, from behind the plate or behind the net. Pitching, I'm just going to say net. And again, what you call them, it doesn't really matter because no one else is going to see this but you. I'm just trying to do things that I know I'll remember. Okay, so this is him on the computer with this, seeing his face. So I'll just say face computer. Now my Adobe Premiere Pro is opening. If it's the first time you've opened this on a computer, just a warning, it takes a long time to open. It is a memory-heavy program. I'm not going to lie to you about that, so it will take up a lot of memory on your computer. And if you're having problems running the program, let me know. You don't have to use this program to edit. You can use something like iMovie, or if you have a better program that you can use. I just want you to get the fundamentals proceed forward with your major in UNG. I also want to alert you to one thing that is available in D2L. Just like I did for the Photoshop program, I created a little help sheet that will take you step by step the processes that we're doing today. You can download it there, making a video using Premiere. And this pretty much tells you everything that I'm going to show you here in the video. So now that my Adobe Premiere has finally opened, I'm going to go under File and New. And this is an important step that a lot of people overlook. I'm going to do a new project, and it's a little different how it'll look on the PC, but the concepts are similar. And this step here is really important. It wants you to title your document. Usually, you title your document before you save it, but Adobe Premiere, since we're working with video files, which are large files, they actually have you create the document before you start, so autosave function could work. So I'm gonna just title mine Jaden Dennis because that's who I'm interviewing. Now this is important. It says here location, this is where it's going to save. So many times I have students who can't find their files because they don't know where they saved it. What I always like to do is I like to know where I'm saving it. This defaults to a file in your documents that Adobe Premiere creates a folder for your documents when it saves, but I've used this program for more than a decade now, and I still don't know how to find that easily. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and save that, save this on my desktop where I have all my files saved, called Jaden Files. And you see there how it changes to that, so it knows that's where it's gonna save. Okay, I'm gonna just click OK. For all these other settings, they're fine. And then it's going to open up a window for me, which you'll see in a moment. So this is the Adobe Premiere window. It can be very intimidating, but I'm going to show you the steps you need to create a pretty solid video. There are a lot of tutorials that are available if you want to learn more, but I'm going to pretty much cover the basics with you. The first step I recommend is let's change our window to viewing things with the editing display. And what that will basically do is it will open up 4 windows for you. Right here, this is our project window. This is where we could switch between the different files that we're working with. This is called our source window. This is, imagine like you have 2 screens, okay? And on the left is your editing screen, and on the right is your final project. That's kind of what this is. The left screen, the source window, that's the different clips that you're playing with and you're gonna put in. This is always gonna be the one on the right. Your program screen is going to be how your final project looks like, okay? And then here is the timeline, and that will make more sense as we start to import videos. So the first thing I'm gonna wanna do is I'm gonna wanna click Import Media to start. And nicely, because I have this as my default screen, it right away pops up with the folder I want. I just want to import all these videos, so I'm going to select them all, and I'm going to click Import, and then it's going to import them right here into my import screen, my project screen. And there's all the projects that I want, all the files that I want. Now you see why it was nice to name them all, so I know exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead, and the first thing I need to do when I'm editing a video and putting a video together is I need to lay down my interview track, my A roll, if you recall. So I'm gonna double click on my interview. This is the whole 5-minute, 8-second clip. And by the way, how Adobe Premiere and all video editing programs do time, this is hours, this is minutes, this is seconds, and this is frames. We measure seconds into frames, and there's 30 frames per second. So that's a frame, that's a frame, that's a frame. So there are all kinds of different frames. Okay, so now I got my interview down. What I wanna do is I wanna try to figure out what parts of the interview do I want on my final video. So I'm just gonna go ahead and listen in here with you and to try to figure out what exactly I want.
Hi, can you please state your name and spell it?
Jaden Dennis, JAYDONDENNIS.
Great. And tell me what year you are in school.
I am a sophomore at Clark Central High School.
Okay.
Okay, so obviously that's information that I had just for my own sake, so I know how to spell his name and everything. But now let's get into actually parts of the interview that I'm going to use.
Okay, thank you. Jaden, how has the coronavirus impacted your school year?
In Georgia,
Okay, so now he's going to start talking about how coronavirus has impacted his school year, which is the information that I'm actually interested in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my endpoint right before he starts talking, and that's going to tell Premiere this is where I want my clip to start. And then when I'm done, I'm going to hit my out point. And this is all explained on the handout.
in Georgia, they canceled all public high schools. So we've been kind of just at home doing online assignments, some of it busy work, some of it not busy work, but like there's no like real teacher to student connection. So understanding things like math may be a little harder for me. But other than that, it's been like really relaxed. I'm caught up on my sleep schedule. Um, I've actually gotten sleep. And yeah, the homework you don't have to do like in your free time anymore. You can just do it during the school day. And since there's like no lectures or all the lectures online, it goes by pretty quickly. Today I finished my homework in like 45 minutes. So it's things like that.
Okay, so I put my out point there. I put O for that, and look, just watching him touch his face so much is making me touch mine. So I have my in point and my out point. Now I want to put all this in my final video. Okay, so I'm gonna just click on my window and I'm gonna drag it down to my timeline. And I am all set. And here you see my video is showing up in my program screen. And this is what my timeline shows you. This is the video at the top. This is the audio at the bottom.
In Georgia, they canceled all.
So hopefully it's starting to make a little sense now. I'm going to find another clip to place here.
45 minutes. So it's things like that.
Okay. Now I want to put more of my interview here, and I'm not worried about jump cuts right now because this is where I'm going to place my B-roll. So I'm going to keep playing.
You have to itch.
Oh, sorry.
you know you did that like 6 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Is that a nervous twitch?
No, my nose itches.
Oh.
I'm not nervous.
Obviously, I don't want any of this.
All right. So tell me a little bit more about your homework. How do you do your homework online?
Through Google Classroom and things like that.
Okay.
Okay. That's where I messed up, and I didn't ask. I asked him a leading question.
You could speak in a complete.
So I told him to speak in a complete sentence.
Classroom for my homework. Sometimes
My homework.
Okay. I use Google Classroom.
There we go.
Okay. I use Google Classroom
so I set my
for my
endpoint
homework.
there.
Sometimes we'll use Google Hangouts, and teacher will help us. We'll go through our day, talk with other students. Sometimes we'll use other websites that our teacher like puts a link in Google Classroom for. But yeah.
Okay.
And
so that's my out point. So this is a much shorter clip, but that's okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and click and drag that down into my timeline. Okay. And I have it in my timeline here. So now this is what I look like.
I use Google Classroom.
Okay. And now I'm going to look for, I know he starts talking about playing baseball at some point.
If you could
Yes.
tell me about, well, first of all, tell me like what you do in baseball for your school.
Well, I play on Clark Central High School's varsity team. I started out as a pitcher only, and then I got moved to starting right field, and then I got moved back to pitcher only. Yeah, practice every single day from 3:40 to 6:30, and
During the coronavirus quarantine, how are you still, getting?
Okay, so I'm not really happy with that audio I got, but I'm going to drag it down here anyway. And I can always clip a little bit off the edges here in my timeline, so I'm not worried about getting my voice in there. This is just basically organizing it for myself later.
Some baseball practice in?
Try to find one more clip.
Every maybe 3 days.
He talks about how he works out.
Getting some baseball practice in.
Every maybe 3 days or so, I'll go outside and I'll throw a little mini bullpen to a little net we have, measure out to 60 feet just to keep my arm in rhythm and not lose motion.
Okay, so that's good because I know I have good B-roll for that because he talks about his pitching
Are
net.
you still?
Every maybe 3.
Okay, and then there's one more thing he talks about dumbbells.
And not lose motion.
So I want to go up in here and
And
find that part.
2-seam fastball /
Pitches.
I throw.
Oh, he talks about what he throws. That'll be
The
good.
types of pitches.
I throw a 2-seam fastball / sinker, which is a pitch that just kind of runs in on the hitter. Well, right-handers at least. And I throw a curveball, which goes up to down through the plate, and I throw a changeup, which kind of also runs in on the hitter. Yeah, I'd love to learn new pitches, but some of the pitches that you can learn are a little ridiculous, and I don't think I will ever get a chance to throw in a high school game. So
I don't think I'm going to use that. So I'm going to put my out point a little sooner here.
learn new pitches, but
before he says I want to learn new pitches.
yeah, I'd love to.
That's good. I'm just going to drag that down here. Gosh, and I thought he said something about lifting weights.
Do you have weights in your room? So you could also say.
I also try to stay in.
Here we go.
I also try to stay in shape by lifting mini dumbbells. I also run on the treadmill sometimes that we have, and things like that, just to stay in shape.
Okay, so I put my out point there. All right, so this is my video. Now I have it, you can see here, that's 2 minutes and 15 seconds. That's probably a little longer than I want, but for the sake of practice, I'm showing you this. Now I need to go and start inserting some B-roll. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to listen to what I have so far and try to find a good place where I could put in some B-roll.
Well, in Georgia, they canceled all public high schools. So we've been kind of just at home doing online assignments, some of it busy work, some of it not busy work, but there's no real teacher to student connections.
Okay, geez, this is a hard one because I don't know where to start.
Well, in Georgia.
Maybe I'll start there in Georgia. Because he kind of stutters there. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking my little tool here that's allows me to get in closer, more precise on the video, on my timeline, so I can find exactly where I want this to start.
In Georgia.
So he says in Georgia, like right here.
In Georgia.
You see that? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make that my new starting point. And what I'm going to do, I want to make sure I have my selection tool selected. And I want to make sure I have this thing called Snap and Timeline on. It's like a little magnifying glass. And what that will do when that's activated, well, now I just unactivated it. When it's activated, what it does is it will snap your video clip and your audio right at the point where you want it to. So that's where I want it to snap to, and I'm going to go ahead and hit play, and we'll see where we start here.
In Georgia, they canceled all public high schools. So we've been kind of just at home doing online assignments, some of it busy work, some of it not busy work. But
okay, so now he starts talking about online assignments. Maybe that's a place where I could put some video. or some B-roll, and I really want to put the B-roll, really want to cover up some of this touching his face all the time.
So we've been.
So maybe I'll do it right here.
So we've been.
No, right before that.
Schools. So
I'm going to do it right here, right before this part. And he talks about working on his computer. And let's see, what do I have here? Do the over the shoulder, working on a computer. So I'm going to double click on this. And I don't care. Remember how we used to drag stuff before? Now I don't care about this audio. I don't want this audio for this B-roll. So I'm going to go here where it says drag video only. And I'm going to go ahead and drag that clip. And I'm going to drag it right above my main interview clip. So if I hit play, this is what it looks like now.
So we've been kind of just at home doing online assignments, some of it busy work, some of it not busy work, but like.
And maybe I'll stop where he says, but like, that's where I'll stop this B-roll clip.
But like.
And we'll see how this looks.
Some of it not busy work, but like, there's no like real teacher to student connection. So understanding things like math, student connection.
So he says there's no teacher to student connection. And then he does that annoying thing where he touches his nose again. So maybe I'll put some more B-roll here.
To student connection.
Or maybe what I'll do is I'll put the B-roll right after this B-roll and we'll see how that will look. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use this typing with computer thing. Oops, I did it again because I don't want to drag the whole thing in. I just want the video. Wait, maybe not. Maybe what I'll do is I'll use this one where he's with his face towards the computer. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and drag in my video again.
Busy work, but like there's no like real teacher to student connection. So understanding things like math may be a little harder for me. But other than that.
And then I think I'll go right into this here.
Maybe a little harder for me. But other than that, it's been like really relaxed. I'm caught up on my sleep schedule.
I don't really care about the sleep schedule. I think when he says it's really relaxed, this is a good time to stop it.
It's been like really relaxed.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it there and I'm gonna go ahead and make my window a little larger here. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna clip this right here.
Understanding things like math may be a little harder for me. But other than that, it's been like really relaxed.
Good. So now I want to go to the baseball part just because I know I have really good B-roll for that. And I know that's this clip here.
Really relaxed. Okay. I use Google Classroom for my homework.
Oh, sorry. We were talking about
Google Hangouts.
Google Classroom here.
Teacher will help us.
I don't really care about that, even though I initially thought I did, because I just want to go to the baseball stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and move this and it's going to snap right there.
Other than that, it's been like really relaxed. Play on Clark Central High School's varsity team. Really relaxed. Play on.
So he says play, I don't know, I must have clipped something out there, but I'm going to get it back just by expanding the front end.
Well, I play on.
Okay.
Really relaxed. Well, I play on Clark Central High School's varsity team.
So he's talking about playing on the baseball team here. We know I have some good clips of him preparing to pitch. So I think what I'm going to do is, let's see here. This is a tough one because I want to put something over the jump cut here.
Other than that, it's been like really relaxed. Well, I play.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to get rid of that. Excuse me.
Well,
So I'm going to just drag this a little bit over here. Excuse me. And maybe I'm going to move this B-roll. Do I have any more of this? Okay, so let's see how this looks. What I did is I expanded one B-roll, and I want to get over, you always want to put B-roll over your jump cuts. So maybe I'll move this in just a little bit, and we'll see where we're at.
So we've been kind of just at home doing online assignments, some of it busy work, some of it not busy work, but like there's no like real teacher to student connection, so understanding things like math may be a little harder for me. But other than that, it's been like really relaxed. Well, I play on Clark Central High School's varsity team. I started out as a pitcher.
Okay, so I'm gonna move this over just a little bit more. Because I really don't want to get his touching his face.
Clark Central High School's varsity team. I started out as a pitcher only, and then I got moved to starting right field, and then I got moved back to pitcher only.
Okay, I'm gonna cut it there, and then I want to get to his video talking about his pitching. So I'm just gonna grab this video here. Let's see if this is what I was looking for.
Every like maybe 3 days or so, I'll go outside and I'll throw a little mini bullpen to a little, and I got moved back to pitcher only. Every like maybe 3 days.
So now we're gonna start talking about pitching. So now I'm gonna get the pitching on the side. Oops, I did what I always do. Oh shoot, I'm deleting everything now. Great tool is undo. You can either go to edit, undo, or you can hit Command Z, which will undo your last action. But right now I want to get video of him pitching from the side, and there's that video. I want to put it over my jump cut. So let's see how this looks.
Moved to starting right field, and then I got moved back to pitcher only. Every like maybe 3 days or so, I'll go outside and I'll throw a little mini bullpen to a little.
Okay, so now if you recall, I have the video of the net here, and so I'm going to create a little matched action, which we saw the end result last week. So here is him pitching. Now, this is where the B-roll is important to line up perfectly. So I see him throwing here, and I'm going to clip it right here. So kind of notice where his arm is. His arm is about to raise up to throw the pitch. Now I'm going to take my B-roll from the net angle, and I'm going to actually, I want to take the sound too a little bit here, and I'll show you why in a second. So I have him going here to ready to throw. Okay, now he is in motion there. Okay, I think that's a good spot. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my tool into that. We'll connect it, and let's see how this looks.
Every like maybe 3 days or so, I'll go outside and I'll throw a little mini bullpen to a little net we have. Measure out.
That was good. That was a little.
Okay, now obviously I don't want that part, but I do like having the net sound effect. And how does this look? I think it looks good. So you see him in the windup. He's about to throw. So it's pretty good. And I mean, that's how easy it is with matched action. Now let's talk about this problem of my audio. What Adobe automatically does once you have a video and audio clip in there is it links it. So anything I do to my video will do with my audio. In this case, what I want to do is I want to unlink those. So I'm going to go under clip with my video and audio of that one clip highlighted. I'm going to click unlink, okay? And this will allow me to go ahead and play with my audio a little bit. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to double click on my audio file, and I'm going to find
That was good.
I just want to get "that is good" out, right?
That was good. That was good.
Okay, and that
was.
let me see where that is down here.
Measure out to
That was good.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and shorten my audio clip so we don't get that part.
We have measure out to
That was
60 feet just to keep my
Nope, still have it.
little net. We have measure out to 60 feet just
Oh, I think I still have a little part of me here.
measure out to 60 feet just to keep my
Okay, and now I'm going to drag this a little bit more
bullpen to a little net. We have
because I want to kind of get that little ambient sound that I had here. If you recall, this pitching net clip also had him setting up to pitch. So let's see how this whole thing looks now.
every like maybe 3 days or so, I'll go outside and I'll throw a little mini bullpen to a little net. We have measure out to 60 feet just to keep my
Okay,
arm
so I'm just going to do it like that. I think that sounds good. And let's make one more quick edit here.
and not lose motion.
Okay, now for the sake of time, we have to get one more clip in, I think, here. This is him talking about his different types of pitches. This is the part of him working out. So I'm going to drag that here.
Arm and rhythm and not lose motion. I also try to stay
And he says again. So I'm going to try to get that out.
I also try.
There we go. I got that out. And what I'm going to do now is I don't have any more B-roll of that pitching net. I'm just going to go ahead and get the video of him on his dumbbells. And you can see I'm not using a lot of my video B-roll that I had, which is fine. Just going to put that right here.
Rhythm and not lose motion. I also try to stay in shape by lifting mini dumbbells. I also run on the treadmill.
You know, although I love my dog, I want to try to get him out of this clip because it's kind of a distraction. So I'm just going to do this to get him out of it.
Not lose motion. I also try to stay in shape by lifting mini dumbbells. I also run on the treadmill sometimes that we have, and things like that, you know, just to stay in shape.
All right, so I think that's good. I'm at about a minute here, which is fine. The last thing I want to do, which you'll also see on your sheet, is we want to add some titles, okay? So I want to insert a lower third slide here. I want it to be right here on the screen, and I want it to say his name. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go under File, click New, and I'm going to click on Legacy Title, okay? And I'm just going to click OK. I'm not too worried about naming this. And I'm just going to put, you can see here, it pops up this Legacy Title screen. I'm going to select my type tool, and I'm just going to put his name here. And I'm not worried about my font or color just yet. I just want to put his name. So let's just put his name here. And then with that nice white background, I think I want my color to be black. So I'm going to go here. This is a little funky how Adobe does this. It's not what you're used to, but I selected my colors. I'm going to click black, hit OK. Okay, now it should show up as black. Okay, and then if I want to make his name a little smaller, I can just adjust it that way. You could do a lot by playing with this. So there, let's say I'm happy with that. Then I'm just gonna, and you could adjust the font. You could put lines around it. You could do all this stuff if you want to play around with it. Feel free to. I'm just gonna hit exit out of that. And here's my title screen. And I'm gonna go ahead and put my title screen right on top of this. I don't want it to be right at the beginning. So
in Georgia, they canceled all public high schools. So we've been
okay, so that's good. Now I'll show you in a minute how to do a little effect so it fades in and fades out. But for now, let's also create one more screen. I'm going to drag my scrubber, this is called, to the very end of the video, and I'm going to click new legacy title again, and I want to give just a credit slide, which I want all of you to have. So what I'm going to do there is I'm just going to give myself credit for producing this. On the Apple, you can do a copyright by doing Option G. So I'm just going to do copyright 2020 Joe Dennis. I'm going to put my email. Okay, and I want to make this all a little smaller. So I'm just going to go here under font size, and I'm just going to make it a little smaller like that. Okay, and I want to kind of put this in the center of the screen. So I'm just going to drag it down to the center, and I want to center my text too. So I'm just going to click that, and there you go. Going to exit out of my legacy title, and I'm just going to drag this title to the very end.
stay in shape.
Okay, so now what I want to do is I just want to create some effects.
In Georgia, they canceled.
So
They canceled.
the title of his name doesn't just appear on, and I want to show you how to do some brief effects here. So what I need to do is I need to go to effects, and I want to do a little video transition there. And I'm going to do a dissolve, and what this will do is I'm going to just drag it to the front, put it on my title slide and on the end, and you'll see how his name will pop up and
In
pop out
Georgia,
now.
they canceled all public high schools. So we've been kind of just at home doing online assignments.
Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing here at the very end. I'm going to have it fade into his
In shape.
title slide. There we go, just like that. And then the last thing I want to add here is a dip to black, so it just doesn't abruptly end. So this will kind of have, it's like fade to black. Your screen will fade out. Okay. Actually, I did dip to white, which is why it appeared white for a second, which is absolutely not what I wanted. I want to dip to black. There you go. And so now I'm done. So now the most important thing is, first of all, save your project, but saving it is not enough, because what this does is this saves an Adobe Premiere Pro file. And if you send this to me, or if you open this on a different computer, nothing will show up. What you need to do is you need to export this, and you want to export it as a media file. And it's going to take a little bit of time for it to pop up the export screen, but it shouldn't take too long because this is only a minute file. And here is the output screen. This is the export settings. You always want it set at H.264. That's the best format for YouTube. For match source, you can see here, if I do it at a high bit rate, it's going to be 88 megabytes long, which isn't a lot, but I can make it a medium bit rate. You don't lose a lot of quality, yet it's more than half the size, okay? And then here, for output name, just like we created our name, I don't want to name it interview. I want to name it like my final file name. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and it's going to pop up a screen here, and I want to save it as actually I want to save it as my name so I know what it is, and I'm going to say video final, so your great and very handsome professor knows who's turning this in. And then I'm gonna, it's setting it to the file that I want. I'm gonna go ahead and click export. And again, this should not take too long. You can see even for a minute file though, we're talking about 2 minutes. Imagine if you're doing like a 30-minute file. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. And it looks like this is my final project, Joe Dennis Video Final.mp4. I'm just going to give it a quick play so I know that everything's there.
In Georgia, they canceled all public high schools. So we've been kind of just at home doing online assignments, some of it busy work, some of it not busy work, but like there's no like real teacher to student connection. So understanding things like math may be a little harder for me. But other than that, it's been like really relaxed. Well, I play on Clark Central High School's varsity team. I started out as a pitcher only, and then I got moved to starting right field, and then I got moved back to pitcher only. Every like maybe 3 days or so, I'll go outside and I'll throw a little mini bullpen to a little net we have. Measure out to 60 feet just to keep my arm in rhythm and not lose motion. I also try to stay in shape by lifting mini dumbbells. I also run on the treadmill sometimes that we have, and things like that, just to stay in shape.
I think that's a pretty good ending. So I was happy with that, and that's what I'm going to upload to YouTube and submit as my video project. And let's look at your assignment prompt, which is here. And so you're going to produce a video profile between 60 to 120 seconds, okay? It could be the interview you were working on before and the B-roll you shot before. That's totally fine. If you think that's good enough to submit, go for it. You have to have an interview, you have to have some B-roll. Remember, you want your total to be 60 to 120 seconds. I want you to definitely have a lower third slide and a credit slide, which I did in my video. And your story should be in a journalistic nature, should be journalistic in nature and appeal to a broader audience. I mean, that is, do the best you can there. Again, I don't think anyone would really give a rat's ass about what my son's, how he's coping with COVID, but we got to work with what we have now as we're all practicing social distancing. So the day of our final is Monday, May 4th. There is no final here, but that is when your final video will be due, 7 p.m. Monday, May 4th. Post it on YouTube. Give me the link. I have to turn in grades later that week, so I cannot accept late work. I say this with peace and love. I cannot accept late work. So get it in by 7 o'clock, 2 weeks from today, Monday, May 4th. I won't have a video next week. This is all you're doing. This is all you're working with. Some tips, remember, consider how to frame your source, as we talked about in our first editing video or shooting video. Keep your camera still. Shoot plenty of B-roll. You saw in the piece that I did, I had probably 3 or 4 B-roll pieces that I didn't even use. Consult the handout that I told you, the making a video using Premiere while you're using it. And then most importantly, contact me if you run into problems while editing. I know this is challenging. It's challenging to teach this when I'm not with you in person. If you have specific editing questions, 2 things I suggest. Google is amazing, right? You could pull up a YouTube video and you could probably find the answer to your question that way. But I'm also here for you. Feel free to text me, 706-296-3832. Drop me an email, joe.dennis@ung.edu, and I will try to make an appointment with you. We can do a Zoom chat on my computer, or you can share your screen and maybe I can help you try to figure out what you're doing and what's working and what's not. Otherwise, if you have any other questions, feel free to contact me. I look forward to seeing your final projects. I'm also going to post the link to some projects in D2L from last year that were pretty strong, so you can see what those look like. And it was a great semester. I'm sorry that it ended the way it did, but I appreciate you working with me and getting through this. And good luck on your future. I'll probably never see you again. Have a good life.